And we're back. Thanks so much for joining me. This is My Spirit Fitness. I'm Felesha Love. I'm here to get you to understand how to get yoga to fit your body. If you're sick and tired of sitting on the sidelines, oohing and eyeing over all of those beautiful art forms that people use to demonstrate yoga poses at its finest, if you're tired of sitting on the sidelines and you really love to enjoy the benefits that millions of people are enjoying every single day, then I invite you to join me each and every time as I walk you on a path to exploring yoga to fit your own body. I teach beginning and intermediate yoga on the college level, and I am so excited to have you here. I will like to remind you again that many of the yoga poses that you see in the media today and in social media are finishing poses. They are beautiful to look at, but unfortunately, that's all you get to do is to look at them. And if you're anything like me, I'm a doer. I like to get into the mix of things. And it's also my job as an educator to motivate you to want to do that. And so that's why I started this video. I started you on a journey with two poses each time, and we'll just build on that yoga sequence. There are many different forms of yoga. So it's not just my style or the style of yoga that your yoga teacher does at a gym or at a yoga studio or even at an ashram. There are many different styles. And the beauty of yoga is that you get to implement it in your life and get it to fit the way you would like to have it accent your body. So I'd also like to share with you that yoga is not just the physical element of yoga. It is a lifestyle, and it doesn't mean that you have to become a vegetarian. If you would like to become a vegetarian, I will tell you this, that your body will feel like a well-oiled machine, as it should. You won't be as sluggish. You won't experience so many allergies that you do with processed foods and things. So even if you don't want to become a vegetarian permanently, substituting one day as a vegetarian would also help. So I would suggest to learn how to eat clean and healthy and whole foods as well while you're on this journey with me. Okay? Last couple of segments, we've learned 4 yoga poses already, and we're going to build today. Are you ready? So we started in easy pose, and if you're practicing each segment with me for at least a week, I would say you'd start to feel stronger each and every time. So you should feel pretty comfortable in easy pose and able to maintain the pose more than 5 breaths, because remember, part of your homework was to incorporate it when you're working on the computer, when you're watching TV, and when you're meeting with a family member, if it's appropriate to sit in easy pose, even at the office. If you're lucky enough to have that kind of casual setting, easy pose will also benefit you to strengthen your core, your back, relax your inner thighs, and release tension in your hips. Forward fold. Remember, I gave you so many different modifications that you should feel more comfortable going into forward fold. You should also remember that the idea isn't to just grab your toes. The idea is to be able to maintain 3 to 5 deep breaths in that pose. Hold the pose and notice how you're feeling in the pose. The other thing we learned, was to place the feet in 90 degrees on both sides. And no, I don't have a name for it, except for the fact that it's a wonderful hip releaser, and you will so be relieved to get into this pose more confidently, because it really does release that tension that we have in the outer thigh. So you're here for 3 to 5 breaths, and instead of letting go and leaning forward, you are placing the hand on the floor and bringing your body closer to the opposite direction so that you're centering your torso, taking 5 deep breaths and releasing the hips. So remember, I said that when you feel tension in yoga, the idea is to take deep breaths, practice pranayama, taking those deep breaths, and as you exhale on a breath, you're actually releasing the tension that you feel in any area, okay? And you're going to shift sides, and you're going to pull that body weight toward the opposite direction. Remember, no jerking, no sudden action, and absolutely get out of the pose as gently as you got into the pose, okay? Deep breath in and exhale, releasing the hip because you'll want to hold that tension. Deep breath in, and as you exhale, release the tension that you feel. Another deep breath in and exhale. So remember, 3 to 5 breaths. I'm going a little faster because I don't want to lose your interest and I want you to be able to practice on your own. So you're going to hold, usually I clasp my fingers together and I hold on to my toes. So I kind of form a sock. Deep breath in and exhale. Also remember that you can, I'm sorry to shift so much on you, but remember you can also do the forward fold in this bound angle pose. Remember that you can also take your feet and move them out just a little bit more if you need. While you're in bound angle, be careful that you are not allowing your knees to lift up. Watch this again. So if you're in bound angle, when you feel a little tension, and you will, make sure the knees aren't coming up. You want to draw the knees downward, draw the belly button in, and pull the body weight forward. That feels pretty darn good. So the next 2 yoga poses that we'll do is this. Once we've finished bound angle, we're going to go back into the previous pose with a 90 degrees. So we'll stay 90 degrees here in bound angle. We'll take this leg behind us like that. We'll take a deep breath in. I'm going to swerve just a little bit more. Deep breath in, and we're going to come up on our knees and get a wonderful stretch in the hip flexors. And then we'll come back down. 3 to 5 deep breaths. Remember, 90-degree angle in front and in back. Deep breath in. And we extend up. So I'm going to do this side as well so that you can see what I'm doing. So 90 degrees, deep breath. You should feel a wonderful stretch through the front of the thigh, the hip flexor, and the quadricep. Now, if it's uncomfortable for this knee, number one, you're not in the position that long, but if you're having difficulty, it could be the padding that you're using on your yoga mat, or it could be the surface of the floor. So if you're on a really hard surface like hardwood or concrete, this pose is not going to feel so great to you, but it will feel wonderful to your body. The last pose that we're going to go into, we're going to come up on all fours, and we're going to go into child's pose. So you're going to drop the hips down and extend the arms all the way out. Child's pose is very interesting. Child's pose will not fit everybody's body, okay? while it's a restorative pose and it feels fabulous to your lower back and your shoulders, people tend to get a little upset if their bottom is not landing on the feet. And if that's so, it's absolutely fine. You could very well be a little tender through the knees. It could be hips or back prohibiting you from sitting all the way down into child's pose. And it could even be the fact that your legs are thicker. And if your legs are thick, your tush will not necessarily lay down on your feet. Okay? So there's a couple of things you can do. You can bring your knees out a little wider, and you can sit back as low as you can comfortably. And remember, in child's pose, you are going to feel a little intensity in the knees. It's just something that I would say, if it's excruciating, don't do it. But I have learned over the years of teaching that people absolutely get used to child's pose, and it starts to feel more comfortable. But one way that you can eliminate some discomfort is not to try to sit all the way in. You can actually bring the hips forward a little bit and drop down into child's pose. I hope that helped. Thanks so much for joining me. I'm Felesha Love with My Spirit Fitness, and I'm looking forward to seeing you for our next session. Have a wonderful day.